It is a point. It was much better from Manchester United. And here are the post-match thoughts of Bruno Fernandes.
Well, Bruno, this Man United team has been widely criticised and, to be honest, completely written off before today. How about that for a response?
No, obviously criticised unfairly because the position in the table says that oh, we lost too many points. Even today, you know, like we can't be happy with the draw because we need points more than they need, to be honest. And obviously, I think it's a really good result. We could have even won the game at the end. But I think it's a fair result. I think both teams played a really good football, intense. Some good chances from both sides, but we can't be satisfied, to be honest. And I'm pretty upset because if we show this today here at Anfield against Liverpool, that is first in the league, that is being probably the outstanding team in the Premier League this season, why we can't do this every week? And it frustrates me for first, because I think finally I did a proper performance overall, and I think we need to be aware, and we said it before the game, we need much more from ourselves to get something from this season. We need to put some pride out, because it ain't enough for us. So
do you have an answer to your own question? Where has that been?
No, it's been here, but it's not coming through. Today it came, but we now need to look forward. We did 1 point. Obviously, being 2-1, then scoring, it's always good to get a point, but we need more. We need more, and now we have a FA Cup game against Arsenal. That's going to be really, really tough again. But we want to be in that final again, so we need to get this standard in every game. Like, I wasn't worried about everyone putting an effort today because it's Liverpool. You know, like everyone's going to try to do their best. I will probably be more worried about Southampton after this performance that we think was already good enough, and is not, because it's going to be a really tough one again.
Yeah, and you said a proper performance from yourself. Have you been getting frustrated with your own levels then?
Oh, I think when you get into games where you feel that you can, I think you always can do more. You know, like I come out of the games and it's not like today's also one of them where in the first half, probably in 3-4 moments where I'm driving the ball forward, I need probably to hold up a little bit more the ball instead of trying to go for 1-2, because we know how tough it is to play against Liverpool when they win the ball and they do a big transition, because they have really fast players and really good players on the ball in the midfield to drive the ball through. With Curtis and I think Gravenberch, they probably one of the best in the league. Szoboszlai that didn't play today, and then McAllister with the get in there and then time up the spaces for everyone to get up, and then we can play from there. Do
you think you really benefited from the training week you've had? The manager talked about you not really having the time since he's been in charge, and you've had a bit of a block this week, and it felt like we could really see that on the pitch.
Oh, obviously it helps, but I think it's not about that. Today was about putting a real effort onto the game, you know, playing with some passion, because this game is your art that's going to give you something from this game. Is obviously, you know, you have the tactics, you have the way you want to play, you have the positions where you have to be and everything, but at the end of the day you need to put your effort in, and that's why we get something from this game today.
But lastly, it can only be the start. This has got to be continued now.
Yeah, of course, you can't stop here. That's what I was saying. And I think we have to bring this frustration to the next games, because in a good way, to understand that this is our level, this has to be our level, and if we can do it this at Anfield today, we have to do it every week.
Well played. You are the player of the match.
Thank you very
much.
Well done,
Bruno.
Thank you.
All the best.
Interesting from the Manchester United captain. Paulie says that was a proper performance. So go back to Monday and today. What's the difference for you? Why so much better today?
I think personnel makes a big difference. I think the middle of the pitch is always an important area. I'm not just saying because I played in there, but I always think it's the most important area of the pitch. And Monday obviously wasn't right. We knew before the game, looking at the team we picked, it was never going to cope with the energy of Newcastle. Today we knew we had half a chance with Agati and Mainu. And I actually think Casemiro and Eriksen could probably play with Agati as well. I don't think. No, you don't just rule them out of just playing them together. It's a no-no. You mentioned effort there, didn't you? A lot effort in the smaller games that they can't seem to get themselves up for them games for some reason. I don't know why, but I think he's right. That was a proper performance today. To go to Anfield and go toe-to-toe with the best team. As I say, they beat Manchester City. who have been the best team for 4 or 5 years. But that performance was nothing like this. This was better. And I know they didn't win the game like they did at City, but I take more out of that performance than actually winning against the champions. I think now, as he said, that's a blueprint. That's the way they have to go forward. They have to follow up now. That's the standard, as he said. But I think the manager, by now, he should know all his players. I think he's chopped and changed so much. I think now there's a...
Is that pretty close to what you think is available his best team today?
Yeah, it has to be. Who else can come into that? Luke Shaw, if he's possibly fit. Euro to right outside centre-half. Garnacho possibly, but not quite. I don't think he gets into it. But
so then, do you want to see him continue, fitness permitting, with that sort of 9 or 10 of that 11 we've seen today for a consistent period?
If them 11 are fit, they have to play until players perform badly and they don't get into the team. Yeah, exactly. Now that is a standard that they've set. That's a standard that they've got to reach in games to come, and I don't see any reason why they can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, games to come will be different. Of course, as Scholes mentioned, that's as good as it gets from an opponent's point of view. You're playing against one of the best teams in the world in Liverpool, in their backyard. That's as tough a test as it comes. Bruno Fernandes mentioned Southampton. When you're playing these teams, exactly, you're going to have much more of the ball this time. It's a totally different game to what it is today. Today is getting up against it, being brave, taking the ball, taking the sting out of the game.
But the effort levels is what Paul's talking about, isn't it? That we haven't always seen in those Bournemouths at home when they've been losing, Wolves, etc.
Yeah, it's dangerous to go down the effort route, I think. Quality of play, yes.
He went down that route himself, didn't he?
He did. He said we've got to keep team. We've got to keep those levels. But I never heard him say we don't try against other teams. It's.
No, but I think he was hinting that Liverpool away, you're obviously up for it more than perhaps Southampton at home.
It's a different game. I find it hard to believe that a team that have won nothing for a good while, OK, they won a cup last year, but they're not a winning machine at the moment. I find it hard to believe that they can have their ups and downs in terms of, well, turn it on in this game and not in others. I think the opponent has a massive influence, not on how much you try, it's just the way the game unfolds and the demands of that game. But the quality and the personnel, as Paul says, that changes from game to game. And now they're playing Southampton next, let's say, or the next league game. That's a totally different kettle of fish to going away to Anfield. Now you're on the front foot. Now you've got to try to open a team up and maybe take risks and maybe leave holes in behind as well. So it's a different kettle of fish. But on today, which we're focusing on, they were very, very good. And that's 2 big results against 2 big teams in the space of a month.
And they took the lead. Martinez's second ever goal for Manchester United. I mean, he hammered this home, didn't he, when Liverpool had possession of the ball?
Yeah, he was on the front foot straight away. He gets in front of Salah. Salah might be just a little bit disappointed. Watch Trent's defending her. He had a poor afternoon, and look at that, he's non-existent. What he's thinking of, I don't know. And Martinez, from being in that front foot position, he carries on. He moves on with the move and keeps going, and it's a brilliant finish for a left-sided centre-half. He hits it so hard. He's not really thinking about much. He's just thinking, I'm putting my foot through this, as probably any centre-half normally would do, and it ends up going in perfectly above Alisson.
Yeah, I mean, to start with, I thought, what's he doing in this position? But as we saw there, Trent's ball to Mo Salah. I thought Mo Salah could have done a little bit more. What can Trent do in that situation? He can only sort of feed it into his feet, and Mo was slightly caught on heels. Martinez then obviously nipped in and stayed forward. And then, as Scholes said, Trent's closing down. Well, it wasn't closing down, was it? It was standing still. It was non-event. It was awful. And then he only reacted when Martinez had broke through, and it was a great finish, but frustrating, I would have thought, for a Liverpool manager with Trent's performance and Trent's effort in that goal. Now,
talking of effort, we know for a fact that Arne Slot was preparing 2 substitutes 6 minutes later, and one of those players coming off was Cody Gakpo the next time the ball went out of play. But he did this.
Yeah, he changed his mind a little. What a goal, by the way. I mean, fantastic goal. Possibly could have been prevented.
In what way?
Well, I think Ugarte leaves a position that he's in the perfect position and he vacates it. I mean, he clears the ball there. We highlighted him here. I don't know why he then... Mainu's already got, Gravenberch in the middle. I don't know why he vacates that area and allows Gakpo to do that. Then after that, it's pure brilliance. I mean, faking to shoot with your left foot, cutting inside and whipping it into the top corner. And the reaction was a really positive one as well for me. You can just see what's going on in their mind, and there was no celebration. All of them ran straight back to the halfway. Let's get this game started again. Because obviously a draw, in their mind, was a poor result. So that reaction was impressive as well, but the goal was super impressive.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ugarte, when you're a central midfield player, you don't like being in them wide areas. He's thinking, get me back to the middle of that pitch, get me over there.
Is that what it is?
I'd presume so, yeah. And he does see a little bit of danger, I suppose. He don't want the lad going forward having a shot. And he vacates that area, but look at him there. He's saying, get me in the middle of that pitch. I do know what will be out here. And you can understand Delic not diving, but he's trying to stop the cross. But you've got to give Gakpo really big credit. It's a fantastic bit of skill, and the finish is brilliant.
Oh, I mean, it's a similar position in a way than Højlund was in the first half. Obviously, a few more bodies in them, but that's the difference between being on your right foot. When you're on the right foot and you're coming in, you can set the ball out wide, you can set it and curl it and keep it away from the goalkeeper. Being on your left foot in that area, and that's the beauty of this position nowadays. It never used to be like that, but now you always have a right footer on the left, a left footer on the right, and you cut in and you curl it into the far corner. In high.
We expect that level of performance from Manchester United. I'm not sure. Put that performance in context, Roy.
Well, obviously a surprise to me. I said before the game, I just looked at the whole team. I looked at their performances recently, the lack of goals.
You gave them no chance?
Yeah, I did.
So what was different?
What Bruno just said there, they turned up. He said they showed a bit of passion. But obviously the argument to all of this stuff, and I don't want to take away from United today, is to do that in the other games. They've done it at City recently. You can't just pick and choose when you want to turn up for a game at Man United and have passion today, and it's typical questions asking the player after a match, going, well, how come you can't do it week in, week out? He's just a player himself. But when you're a senior player, the key is to turn up for every game with that passion and that quality. And they showed the quality today. And I don't think anyone would have predicted Man United probably certainly scoring 2 goals today and nearly won it at the end. Liverpool had their chances, of course they did, and I'll take my hat off to United today. They showed a bit of passion, lots of quality, a bit of fight, and they kind of showed what playing for Man United is all about. But the key is, obviously, they've got to back it up. They've got to back it up. And the next week, obviously, the Arsenal in the Cup next, they've got to turn up with the same attitude, the same level of performance, the same fighting spirit, and then you've got a chance of winning matches.
Do you think they surprised Liverpool with their level today?
Yes, but when I listened to Arne Slot's interview before the game, he said they've got the players and they've got the talent in the squad, but the performances haven't, garnered the results. And today, I think they've shown their true colours, maybe in terms of the manager's system and how they played it, and they showed a lot of fight, they showed a lot of composure on the ball, and that's been lacking in recent weeks, of course. So I think they performed to a level where the manager can be proud, the players can be proud of themselves, to say, look, like Bruno said in his interview, this is what we can be. But in turn, you have to do that every single week. You can't pick and choose against the bigger teams. You say, OK, all eyes are on us today, lads. We're going to perform and give our best games. But when you're playing against the lesser teams, when you're expected to get the results and you're expected to create things and they don't respect you or you don't respect them as much, that's when you've got to put those teams away. And
United should come out with... I hope the message coming out from United over the next few days is also that, listen, we actually still have that belief. I know the manager spoke before the game about they're anxious and they're nervous, but the players have to come up with a message. We still believe we can turn in them type of performances. We have seen them before. The problem is they don't do it week in, week out. Far from it. They're very inconsistent. You should look at the league table and the goals against. It's so bad. It's unbelievable. But the players, you ask for honesty from your group of players, but I don't think this group of players are honest. Because if you're not putting in a performance week in, week out, there's something obviously amiss. But I think that they have a chance the next few days to also play it cool. Everyone will be criticising Liverpool now, but Liverpool also, no need to panic from Liverpool's point of view. It's another point, it's another game, and listen, they could have won it themselves. But United shouldn't get too excited. As a Man United player, coming to certain stadiums, getting results, like against Man City, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and also send that message going, listen, there's still a bit of trust amongst us that we can get results.
Well, I suppose the first question United had to answer, could they get through the first half unscathed, which is what they did. All the goals came in the second period. And the next question, could they actually then break Liverpool down? How did they do that, Roy?
By taking them opportunities, and obviously by pressing and good play. And we see here, Martinez obviously getting it high up the pitch. And Bruno, we know Bruno's quality. Liverpool's defending here, they lack that little bit of intensity. Martinez, nice little side ball, and you're thinking, can you finish? Gary mentioned Giggsy's. Listen, brilliant finish, into the roof of the net. Trent's probably could have done better there. But Liverpool just lack that intensity for these few seconds. You can't switch off. Look, they're just passive. They're all watching each other. Look at Bruno, look at Trent. Make a tackle. Far too easy, but brilliant finish. And United, happy days. They couldn't believe it. Great reaction.
Finish was outstanding, to be fair. I didn't like the Ryan Giggs shout, though, because he only beat about 9 players for his goal. But, I mean, it was a fantastic finish. To do that as a defender as well, like, the power on it.
Do you think that's what he's just concentrating on in this position?
For sure. And I think when you got that time to think what you're going to do, it's almost like, oh, some players, snatch at it or whatever it may be, but the concentration he showed as a defender as well. I mean, I'm saying defenders can't score goals, but that's an absolutely top draw finish.
Are you thinking if you hit through this flush, you're beating most keepers, whether they are world class or not?
Yeah, I think the modern players, the power and the balls, I think if you do get great connection on like you did, it is very difficult to stop.
But it sparked something in Liverpool as well. That lead for Manchester United, as joyous as it was for them in that moment, lasted just 7 minutes, Daniel.
It sure did, yeah. And I think, in these moments, as Man United, you want to try and now gain a bit of control and calm yourselves down. But you see here, the ball from McAllister was brilliant. And De Ligt is sliding in there. He's going up against his teammate.